Handling negative feedback has a lot to do with professionalism. It has to do with the growth mindset and also emotional intelligence. All of this come together to help you to be able to navigate a lot of feedbacks that come to you. There are certain feedbacks that come like weapon fashion against you, and you have no idea how to handle it. But when you have the growth mindset, when you have emotional intelligence, and you apply professionalism to it, you will be able to do a lot. You can do justice to whatever form of feedback that comes to your way. This is today's live on Equa Television International. Good morning. My name is Jemima Emmanuel, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube on Equa Television International. Please do well to drop your comments, drop your opinions on what you think based on what we'll be talking about today. The topic today is handling feedback at work. Handling feedback
Negative.
at work. Handling feedback, and that feedback should be negative. So how do you handle negative feedback at work? I'm not doing this alone. I have Solomon Sambo on set with me today. Good
I'm happy
morning.
to be here.
Prudence, good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
We bless God.
Great.
Work, and work.
Exactly. We're talking about work today. Monday we need to start with work.
People
For some
like
of us,
us,
even the weekends were work, so
you understand. We just came back yesterday from Kaduna to cover the 50th anniversary of Equa Church Limu Road in Kaduna, which the executive governor of Plateau State, was the special guest of honor. So the weekend, you will understand.
yeah.
But it was a great event anyway. It was a great event.
Great. That's nice. Well done.
We are back again. And Monday.
And we
Thank God
continue.
it's Monday. We move. As they will say, no slacking.
No slacking at all.
You signed for it, right? Okay. Let's go.
Yes.
Always on the clock. Always.
So we're talking about handling negative feedback at work. A lot of people don't mind positive feedback. They love it, they enjoy it, they bask in it. But when it has to do with negative feedback, that is where you begin to see a lot of head collision. You begin to see a lot of physical abilities, insults and a lot of things. So when we talk, since we're talking about work on Monday, so how do we handle negative feedback at work?
Wow.
It's not a point of you trying to defend yourself when the feedback comes. How are you able to handle it?
You see, handling negative feedback is not easy.
At all.
Nobody will tell you that it's easy.
No.
But I'm so delighted by your preamble, your opening. You mentioned someone emotional intelligent.
Professionalism.
You mentioned professionalism. You mentioned
growth.
Sometimes when I look at how people handle certain things, it gives me a total overview of the person's totality, as in the level of his growth. Because when you talk about growth, you're talking about your maturity in handling issues. And then when you talk about negativity, we are living in a world that is full of negativity and positivity. And that's what makes the world balance. So if God allow it to be like that, to create that balance, that means it's our own responsibility to build ourselves in such a way that when negativity comes, we will know how to handle it. It's not that it will not come, but you have to build that capacity. That's why for Christians, the moment you are giving your life to Christ, Christ is reminding you that for the sake of you accepting me and denying the world, this is what will come your way. He knows. So he's trying to tell you so that you will build capacity. So that when it comes, because God is all about positivity. The world is about negativity. So he's telling you that negativity will come. But let me prepare you. This is definitely they will come. But this is the way to navigate. What am I trying to say? That means it's a must for us to be conscious that the world is full of negativity. That's number one. Number two, that because the world is full of negativity, you have the responsibility to build capacity to resist negativity or to navigate your way through negativity. So that means you have to open your mind to learning. It starts from there, because through learning, that's when you understand that this is how people behave, and people can throw certain things like this, whether at home or anywhere, and most especially work, where we all gather coming from different training in life, different background, different exposure, and then all you are expected is to just come and deliver. And by so doing, there's interaction. So by interacting with people, people can just throw anything. They may be right in saying what they are saying, but the timing may just be wrong, simply because their emotional intelligence at that time is not activated. So they are not even careful of where they are, the mindset of the person, what they are saying at that particular moment. They don't care how the person will look at it. That we can say the emotional intelligence of that person at that time is missing. But you have to activate your own and then respond well. You can't respond well if you are not, if you are incapacitated with certain information that you are supposed to respond well. So, in essence, for you to handle negativity at work, you have to build capacity. You have to build capacity in such that you will know that people are coming from a different background. People can behave anyhow the way they want. Depends on their level of understanding in their belief and what they stand for. Because at work, you meet with different kind of people. You meet with Christians, you meet with Muslims, you meet with atheists, you meet with free thinkers, and so on and so forth. So you are being expected for you to be different, to act different. So you have to accommodate such things by building capacity in a way that you will navigate your way in such a manner that it will bring glory to God if you are a Christian.
It's interesting that people even think of feedbacks and you don't even think of it sometimes coming in as negative. You know that we are very receptive of any feedback so long as it is positive, as you mentioned earlier in your preamble. But when it tends to be negative, a lot of us don't want to even pay attention. You find some people become defensive and the likes. You find people becoming aggressive, in fact, because they don't like the feedback that is coming to them. So I really don't understand why you cannot even think that feedback could come in the negative, because life in itself comes in two ways. It's either good or bad. It's one or the other. And so everything about life is one or the other. Two sides of a coin, two sides of a story. Everything has two sides. And so if you're getting a feedback, it could be positive, it could be negative. You go into a business and you're not expecting negative feedback, my brother, my sister, you're not ready to do business. Because if you're ready to do business, there would definitely be negative impact. In fact, I said impact, feedback. In fact, every single thing that you put your hands to do, think of the possibility of negative feedbacks. Why did I say it's such? Because if you are thinking of the possibility of negative feedbacks, you would have it at the back of your mind that these negative feedbacks could be something that will push you to be a better person, a better version of yourself. If I get work done and my boss comes and says, this is absolutely not what I wanted, so tomorrow I will take in extra caution to ask questions that will aid me in doing that work, right? And tomorrow when I'm given that same kind of work, I would know how to approach it. This is negative feedback giving me a positive vibe. So it all boils down to how you think as a person. Prepare your mind that you would definitely get negative feedbacks, but how do you approach them? How do you channel them to be a better version of yourself? If this negative feedback has no basis, it has no truth attached to it, you go on living your life like it never happened. Why would the scripture say something like this, that in this world you face troubles, but have peace because I have conquered the world? So it's like, okay, so you know that you're on the right path, and there are arrows being thrown at you, negative feedback here and there, and you know what you're doing is right. There is no reason why you should let that feedback deter you. But if there's truth in what is being said, then find a way to work with it to make it a positive thing. I've seen people in very bad circumstances, when I say bad circumstances, is that they did something and everybody's just bombarding them with a whole lot of negative feedback, and the response is just really negative. And the next day, this person came back to do the same thing. Everybody was like, was that you? Did you just do that? Because this person took it upon himself to use that feedback for the betterment of himself. And that is the approach that we need to use in a lot of things that we are doing in our lives, as in general, in work, in life, and even in relationships. These negative feedbacks, negative comments, whatever that the response comes, negative, however it comes, whether it is rude or said in a very subtle manner, because we also have this tendency that we would say, if the person responded to me rudely, I'll trash whatever he's saying. But that it doesn't matter what the person's action is. It just boils down to your reaction to what that person has done to you. So if the person is rude to you and you respond rudely, two wrongs don't make a right.
Of course.
So how you approach it, like you mentioned, your maturity, your emotional intelligence, your cultural intelligence, that too is plays a healthy role, and mental health and everything, mental stability and all that comes into play. Because sometimes the negative feedback you're getting, the person is not in his right mind, and the person is giving you a negative feedback. Probably someone annoyed him at home and he came to the office, and the small thing that you did just triggered a very negative feedback. It does not matter how he reacts or how he behaves, is how you react. Your action is what is being put into consideration. They will not question you of what he did. It is what you did. If you committed murder because someone did something wrong to you, nobody will look at what the person did that is wrong. They will look at the facts that you murdered the person. It's just a simple thing. That's how actions work. So when you receive feedback, how you process it, think rightly. Think of what good can come up from this negative feedback that I'm getting. What good can I turn this feedback to? How can I turn things around? How can I make it better? That's what we talk about when we always preach about positivity on this set. It's how you can turn over a negative result into a positive one. It's the same thing as with feedbacks as well. So just look into it that way.
And whatever it is you're doing, if there's no feedback coming back,
There's a
it
problem.
means something is wrong somewhere. So whether the feedback is positive or is negative, if you're not getting anything in return, check. There's something wrong with the communication channel. It means something is wrong somewhere. Either what you're doing is not reaching your target audience, or just something is wrong somewhere. So if you're even getting a negative feedback, it is a green light on its own, because it means, okay, it has reached the people I want it to reach, and they are not okay with it. And then if you keep getting negative feedbacks like consistently, you should check yourself as well, because people wouldn't have held a meeting to gang up against you and say, okay, let's show Solomon Sambo that we are good people, like we need to really trash him. People will not do that. So if you have 2, 3, 4 or more people saying the same thing, coming as negative, then you should really sit down and check yourself. And if someone is giving you a feedback, whether that is how the person is naturally, or he's hot-tempered, or he just doesn't like you, is not in your place to also respond rudely. Just like Prudence has said, 2 wrongs do not make a right. If Prudence is giving me a feedback and she is very arrogant, she is rude about it, thank you, Prudence, for having me in mind and even giving me this feedback. I will look into it. Thank you so much. So whether it went down well with you or not is not her concern. It is left for you to go and sit down and check, okay, this thing that these people said, you know yourself more than any other person. So you won't even lie to yourself. Even if I pretended to her, I can't lie to myself. If what she said has 3% iota of truth in it, I should know within me. So it's left for you to go and sit down, especially at work or even business that Prudence has said. People that are into business don't want anything that is negative. They just want you to keep saying, you're doing well, you're selling well, your products are cheap, they are very okay, and all of that. But when people say something to you, it is left for you to go and sit down and scrutinize those things they have said. Are they right? Okay, these ones that they said I did not do well. Truthfully, I did not do it well. How can I do it well? This one that they said I did well, yes, even though they said I did well, I can actually do better. So it is left for you to decide what you want to do. So it has a lot to do with the next step, the next action you would take. But you cannot take those actions if you took it in a bad light. If you took those feedbacks in a bad light, you will not be able to take certain actions.
Sure.
Exactly.
You see, that's why earlier I talked about open heart, open-minded person. Because if your mind is locked, and then
you will not be receptive.
You will not be receptive. And you see, when you talk about negative feedbacks, what are those things that we tag as negative when they come to us as feedbacks? For me, if I'm not doing well, and then Prudence is telling me, in this area, you are lacking, I think you need to improve, regardless of how she put it. Right? It's negative, right?
Yes.
But the truth sense of it is a positive. That should be tagged as a positive feedback.
Honestly.
That's how I see it.
Because it is to make you better.
Because it's to make me better.
So in the long run, you are the major beneficiary.
Do you get?
Honestly.
But when I'm not doing well, and then Prudence is coming, hey, Sambo, you are doing well, we are happy, this blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah,
pretense.
That's a negative feedback.
That's why it's tag positive. Because she's saying you are doing well. So we assume that's the positive feedback. No, that's the negative one. Because you can't lie to yourself.
True.
Because what she's saying, you know that you're not doing well. She's just saying, but at that moment, because of man's nature, that he wants to always hear things that are
Soothing.
that are sweet. They are positive in nature, even when they are not.
Even if they are
You understand. So, but you see, it all boils down to how our mind is being set, how positive, how open-minded we are. Because if you look at people that really want growth, their mind is open.
Yes.
Yeah.
They listen. In fact, what they listen most is criticism.
Yes.
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 They want to hear. Like if people are telling them you are doing well, no, they don't. Sometimes I met with people that that when you tell them that are doing well, sooner or later they will start avoiding you. Yes, because they believe if you say truly truly that you are their friend, right? And then you always tell them sweet things. They feel something is wrong because they believe a true friend is a friend that will tell you that your mouth is not smelling good. Go and brush. A true friend that will tell you that, right? So they expect that if truly you say you are my true friend, you are my friend, like we have come a long way together, then I shouldn't be always hearing that I'm doing well. So sooner or later, systematically, they will start avoiding you. You will not know. Because they feel they are serious-minded people, close people in their life should be telling them some negativity about either their business or what they are doing. Because they feel you can't just be perfect all the time. Yeah. I met with people like that.
It's even it's a healthy mindset to actually know that you cannot be absolutely perfect. That in itself is healthy because it gives you the opportunity to see things clearer. You pay attention to details and you pay attention to nitty-gritties. You know that you are not perfect, and because of that you are expectant, even if I'm doing the best I can do at my job, there's that tiny room of you not satisfying something or someone. And so if that person tends to tell you that honestly, as much as you did well, this part and this part you're actually lacking, maybe you could add up to this or you could do this, and it would help you a lot, because in the long run that's a very positive feedback. I know that a lot of people will not argue as such. I met someone one time, had a beautiful voice. He had the aura and the capacity to actually be a very awesome presenter. And so people told him that your voice is good, everything about you, your demeanor and everything was just so perfect, and they loved it. But one thing he was lacking was concentration. And because he lacked concentration, all those skills that he had, he could not use it effectively because there's no concentration. And so and in that point, the person who tells him that is not entirely wrong. And the person is actually giving him a negative feedback that is positive. Because it would help him if he is able to focus his attention more on the work he's doing. A lot of times my mom says this thing. She says, "You are a very skilled child. Among my children, you are the most skilled." And honestly, if it is handwork, I am quite skilled. But you see, my attention cannot stay on one. Honestly, it's like I'm thinking of this and I'm thinking of that and I'm thinking of this. And so I cannot sit down and get the much value that I should be able to get if I put my attention into one thing at a time. And because of that, my mom is always complaining and saying, when can you put your... A lot of times when she's doing that, I feel like she's belittling. Yes, I'm being attacked or belittling. But is it true? Absolutely. She's saying the truth. And in that sense of it, if I could be able to put my attention to one thing at a time, I would do marvelously well. And so the way you approach whatever feedback you're getting is what makes you or what mars you. One lady was talking to her husband one time, and she mentioned, and I think I've said it on this set a number of times, and she mentioned that when I reach heaven and I'm being called accountable for what I did, it will not be asked of me, what did he do to make you behave the way you did? It will be asked of me, why did I behave the way I did? It applies to everything in our lives. The way I behave, the way I respond is critical. And because it is critical, how I do it, I have to put it into consideration. I have to be very careful. At a workplace, just because your boss has given you a negative feedback or your colleague has given you a negative feedback does not mean that you should go all out and you're just ranting to another person or even to the person, because that situation that would have been curtailed in a very soft manner, it would have had a very low blow, it will escalate and become something else entirely. It could even lead to your sacking. It could lead to your suspension. Some people have gone on suspension because they could not accept negative feedbacks. And some people have lost their jobs because they could not accept negative feedback. Some people have lost business opportunities because they could not accept negative feedbacks. And so at the end of the day, who is it detrimental to? It's you. It doesn't even, at the end of the day, the person that is even giving the negative feedback is still having his job, still having his business. You're the one who has lost. So how you approach it really matters. You need to be mature in thinking. You need to be intellectually matured. I know sometimes people think that intellect is about going to school and all that, but no, intellect goes far beyond that. Intellect is what makes you sit down and think and put, in fact, for some secondary school graduates, they are more intellectual than a PhD holder, because he knows that when he's doing his business in this way, it will be affected. And if I'm getting negative feedback from people, it is supposed to be a betterment of my business. It is that negativity that you carry and process, and it becomes a massive hit.
I agree with you, because even those that are being tagged, the intellectuals, use these ones that are tagged not really smart. You just mentioned business. You know, the high placed ones use them for research and make their research to polish their intellectual properties.
Exactly. So there's just a whole lot. It's like the world is like a rolling. It just goes round and round and round. And so you have to be very.
You talked
conscious
about a boss and subordinate relationship. You know, in at workplace. You know, sometimes you just have to open your mind, think deep, get exposed, expose in like reading how people behave. It's very, very important.
Very.
And then you now apply wisdom based on your research and the information at your disposal. You apply wisdom on how to navigate whatever is on your table. Because you find some bosses, they find it difficult to tell you that you're doing well. Yes. Some, it will hardly come. You are doing well, yes. But to them, yes, you are doing well. Some, you'll be surprised to hear that your boss is saying something about you positive outside. And you'll be wondering.
Because he has never told you anything.
Yes, like you'll be, no, it's not me. It's the other Jemima, not me. You understand? No, it's the other Solomon, not this one. you mean he said this or she said this? Like you'll be surprised.
You'll be shocked.
You'll be shocked. You understand? So why do I say that? You have to study
People.
very well, because some they just feel when they tell you you're good, you relax. When they tell you well done, even though there is a place for that, you can't take it outrightly. There's a place for that. That's what creates the balance.
Yeah.
If you are doing well, get a pat. If you are not doing well, if it means using the stroke, it's still allowed, because that's what creates the balance. You understand? So, but when you find yourself in a situation like that, which you have a boss that doesn't feel like, and to him is okay, it's normal.
Yeah.
You can't do anything because you can't sack him.
Of course.
He's in the better position to sack you.
Sack you.
So why not just do your best and then keep building yourself, even in the areas that you know, without somebody telling you that you're doing good. You are doing good. Just keep improving yourself, and then keep polishing whatever skill you have for the sake of tomorrow. You know, people have to know that, because some people get discouraged when they do something, no matter how little it is. They just feel like somebody should just tell them, yes, you are doing well, and they want somebody to also tell them that you are not doing well. You need to step up. And you see, the issue of cycle, it is very, very important. What are the kind of people you mingle with? What are their mindsets? How intellectual are they? How exposed? How open? How willing are they when it comes to learning at that position which they are? Because these are people that will help you, to improve in areas that you need growth. Because you mentioned growth earlier.
Yes.
Because definitely this negative feedbacks, it always comes to an open heart minded person as positive feedback that will help you propel to do better. You understand? Or except you see that. But if you are surrounded with negative people that always see like everything negative, be rest assured that means you will be stuck, because you will not see area of which you would think that you need improvement. You will just be stuck and you'll be stagnant. And sometimes you'll be sucked in an ocean of illusion that you yourself, you don't know. And then, behold, it's not too late. Before they will say Jack Robinson, and then there's no time again for you to do anything positive again. So it is very important to know that we deal with some people again in life generally that they cannot open up and say this. And I hear I listen to some parents, they will say, no, this my child, I'm proud of him, but never told him. You hear them discussing, bragging with other friends, outside there. This is my child, oh, this is my daughter, this. But it's hard for them to tell them. So I feel it is important, even at home, parents should teach their children, this balance in life, that they should know that in life you will receive all this negativity, that the world tag, because sometimes it's the way we perceive, the way we understand the information that it comes to us, and how we process it. So you just feel like this person hates me, and that's the reason why he's saying what he's saying. If the person is saying the truth, embrace it, use it as a fertilizer to grow. If what the person is saying, you know that the person is not saying the truth, if it's coming as a negativity, don't see it as negative. Still embrace it as positive and keep moving, because you can't respond to everything that people throw at you, because we know we are in a world full of jealousy. People can just say certain things, just to find a way that they will break you or slow you down in your journey in life, knowing fully that you are doing well. Like you said, it's difficult for people to gather and discuss you and give you certain feedback. But Jemima, it will shock you that people call for conference. Yes, with poster, for the sake of people that are doing well in Angwa, simply because they don't like you, they don't want you to progress. People will gather and they will say, no, if it's Jemima, she will not succeed. And that's why you find out when some people understand that kind of trick, they leave such areas. Yes, because some of us are being stuck in certain areas that we are where we are today without progressing, because we insist we want to make a point there. Yes, for some it works, but some it become toxic in such a way that it will even break you and make you feel like, no, you don't want anything in life. So sometimes, it's very good for you when you notice things like that, you change environment and you keep moving. To some, it works for them. They stay where we have different capacity. Some will remain where they are and make that difference. Some, we just have to change.
And you see, one other thing I see with feedback is we attach the feedback to the personality that gave the feedback to us. So this small person like this, he just looked me in the face and had the guts to tell me what he told me. Like, we're removing the feedback in its entirety and then leaving the personality of the feedback. We shouldn't do that. Feedback, let's make it look like a questionnaire. When you share questionnaires to people, they don't write their names. They just answer questions that you wrote there, right? So you just gather everything and then you're reading answers. So if we can look at feedback like a questionnaire, you don't say, okay, this one came from Solomon Sambo, let me even keep it here, say, because his case is different. This one is from Prudence. Prudence like this. This one is from Joyce. This one is from Moses. This one, no. Let's just see it as people telling us the truth that we need to know. And then when we know that truth, let's take action to remedy the situation. Because if someone tells you something, he or she is expecting that you will do better. You will take the challenge and do better. But when we are in a position where we're pointing fingers, oh, this person, I was better than this person in school. I was doing better than this person at work. Even in business, I started years before this person. He has no right to give me this kind of feedback that he gave me. Then we are wrong. But if we can remove personalities from feedback itself, then we will be able to do more. We will even be able to go further in life, because we have taken the challenge and we are taking actions based on it. But when we just attach human beings to it, there are certain people that actually they don't have the right to give you feedback. But when you say feedback, you do not say from 18 and above.
Why do you say some people don't have right to give you feedback?
No, there are certain people, like, you can say, I am doing better than this person, so he cannot come and teach me what I already know. So I am saying we should not even put a condition to feedback. Like, even if it's a child, even if it's your peer, even if it's somebody that is beyond your cadre, so far that person, what he is pointing out is right and is true about you. You should be able to remove personality from the feedback itself.
When the Bible says,
pride goes before a fall.
What do you think the Bible is trying to say? See, the moment you begin to think that way, see, without apology, you are a shallow-minded person.
True.
Regardless of your position. And that's why most leaders fail. Yes, because they come to leadership, that cadre, with that kind of mindset. My subordinate cannot suggest to me. My subordinate cannot observe this on my behalf. It's pride. Pride.
Something that I find interesting is that, as I think we've established it, the Bible is like a very wholesome book. So think of this, the story of Naaman and Elisha and the servant girl, right? So this servant girl, she was not even. She was actually
she was a nobody.
She was a very she was a nobody. She was someone that was taken captive. Very complete. She was taken captive and kept as a slave. She was not just a servant girl. She was a slave, right? And so, if he had blocked his ears because, well, he's a captain, he's a what, the whole title that he had as one of the, after the king, his words are really sustainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this man listened to his slave girl to be able to get his healing. If he hadn't listened to his slave girl, he would have not gotten healing. It's simple. That is how life in itself is. You have to listen, even when it seemingly looks like it's a stupidity that is spilling out of the person's mouth. Engineer Tony has said this, that for some people, you look at them and you pick out what is important in what they are saying and forget the figure that is standing there. So that's where that is how you're supposed to approach certain feedbacks. I know I've had cause to tell a teacher, my teacher in school, I've had cause to tell a teacher some things that I felt like was wrong that he was doing. True, he was I liked that teacher. He was one of my favorite teachers actually in school. But there are times when he does something and students are like always complaining about that specific thing. And he got to a point I had to go and tell him, sir, if you don't change your ways, things will not end up well for you. And I'm not a prophet of doom, but there are just certain things that if you don't work on, you end up finding. Was that a wrong thing of me to do? No. It was actually a very positive thing, because there are times when you need to be told that you're getting ahead of yourself. There are times that you need to be told that you're doing things in excess. There are times that you need to be told that you're doing things not up to standard, so that you are able to guide yourself. Why would people say no one is an island? It's because of things like this. Because you hold my hands, I hold your hands, and we lift each other. Someone said you rise by lifting other people. How would you lift other people if you are not able to be positive and negative with them at the same time? So that is, you're very objective in looking at what this person does. And so because you accredit a lot of success to certain people because of the positivity that they have impacted in your life. How could they be positive in your life? They pointed out where you were erring and applauded where you were right. And you had to pay attention to those. If not, you would have not been a better person.
You see, the reason why you approach that teacher of yours is that mindset that the Bible says we should look out for others. In your mind, you are thinking that something might go wrong if he continues that way. So in your mind, you are wishing him well, even in the future.
True.
That's the only way,
of course,
you can approach such a teacher and then tell him how you felt, because you are not the only student. And look at it, because some students do complain about his behavior. He is not there while the students are complaining.
Yes,
but you are
there.
the one that is feeling bad because you wish him well. Do you see the link? You will always feel bad when they talk about somebody that already you are wishing the person well in the future, and you are seeing something that can be an obstacle for him finishing well. And you see, in this life, God positioned everybody in your life for a reason. We must understand that. We must understand that. And that's why most people don't get it right, because they feel they cannot take certain feedbacks from certain people.
Yes.
Okay. Just imagine when the angels visited Abraham for his blessings. Just imagine him seeing them as ordinary people, and he let them be, and they pass without that special treatment that the pronouncement came, that led to the wife even laughing. Do you understand? Just imagine, maybe he's just waiting for a wealthy person like him just passing by, and he will host them. They are just ordinary people. Just imagine giving them that treatment. So we should be very, very careful. And that's why we're emphasizing that issue of open-minded, open heart. You know, you have to be an open minded person that will receive and process and then take the one that you will take at a particular moment. It's not everything that comes to you and you process that is for the immediate consumption.
No.
Some are for the future.
Yes.
But you have to store them. So you have to have the ability and the capacity, to do that. You see, and you see, this issue of pride is a problem, seriously, that is making some of us not really to do well, because you just feel Jemima cannot tell me this, or I cannot take Prudence know this, and she's doing well, and because I'm her senior by age, I cannot come and say, please Prudence, please come and teach me this. You understand? And that is why I there was a day we discussed about, and I talk about how some people behave, even in office, that you talk to your colleague, because first of all, we are colleague before the hierarchy.
Yes.
You understand? But you talk to your colleague as if you give birth to the person. Even sometimes the way we talk to some of our colleagues, you cannot even talk to your child like that, or your wife like that. Yes. You understand? But you talk to your colleague as if you are just almighty. Like it's wrong. It's wrong. These are all things that you see make environment toxic, and they make people to behave in a certain way that sometimes we miss our blessings even in our little corners.
True. It is really important that we have the mind to take feedback as they come and then sieve it, work with whatever it is that would help you grow. Thank you so much, Solomon Sambo.
You're welcome,
Prudence,
Lina.
thank you.
Pleasure.
This is the much that we can take on handling feedback, negative feedback at work. You should be able to listen to whoever comes to give you feedback. Do not feel like there are people that deserve to give you feedback and those that do not deserve to give you feedback. It is left for you to go back, sit down, scrutinize it all, and work with whatever would bring about your progress in life. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Until we come your way tomorrow with another discussion, do have a great day. Bye.